Look at that raven. It's a sign. It's an omen. It fits perfectly into what I'm about to show you and the tour that I'm about to take you on. I am here at Edgar Allan Poe Square. This is the house and now a museum where Edgar Allan Poe lived. For 7 years he lived here. Now this is his wife, Virginia, at 15 years old. The strange thing is that they were cousins, and he met her when she was very young, like 7 years old. He ended up moving in the same house with her, fell in love with her, and then married her when he was 27 and she was just 13 years old. Times were different, of course, but it's a little weird even for back then. But anyway, I'm going to take you into the house where he lived. Is a very small house, very interesting little museum, and then I'm going to take you over to where he's buried. 2 different graves there, the original grave and then where he was moved. It's a beautiful, beautiful church, very old. It was actually built over top of a cemetery. So I'm going to take you there as well and tell you a little bit about Edgar Allan Poe. So this is a house that he lived in. These stairs are extremely steep. Wow. This house is almost 200 years old, so and it's very small. It's like a little tiny house, kind of. So the stairs are very steep, very narrow. Ooh, it's warm up here.
Thank you. Come up.
So this was the master bedroom. It is believed that the bedroom would have been Elizabeth Poe, Edgar's grandmother. Being paralyzed, she would have been confined to a bed in need of heat, and this fireplace would have provided plenty of heat during the winter months. And it is likely that Maria Clem also slept here in order to render the needed care to her mother. This house was originally a duplex. It's changed now because of the apartments and just over time, and so now it's basically like a one family building. I think they're looking to rebuild it and make it look like it was when he lived here. This is from Edgar Allan Poe's uncle, this chair. 1800. There's another set of stairs that go up. It's so steep that it has a handle here. Wow, it swings all the way around. This is almost like a ladder. I mean, it's narrow, and I keep hitting my head as I'm talking to you. The garret bedroom above had been thought to be that of Edgar Allan Poe's, and we have it furnished that way. In fact, there is evidence to suggest that he occupied the attic bedroom in the Wilkes Street house in East Baltimore before the Clems moved here. If they kept the same arrangement, Poe would have been upstairs. However, if the women were in the front bedroom, Edgar's regular passage through the room would have been awkward. It is for this reason that it is now believed he slept in the back room with his cousin Henry, and if the garret was used by the family as a bedroom, it was very likely occupied by Virginia Clem. This is great. They have a whole family tree here for the people, for all the Poes, the Clems, everybody who lived in Baltimore. And it's very interesting to see the first bedroom to the left. As soon as you come up the stairs, this was likely, it's really the rear bedroom. It was likely where Edgar Allan stayed. So he likely shared this room with his cousin Henry. There's all these fantastic illustrations. I love this one. And then this one I love too. The lighting is a little rough, but I love that. Lots of interesting quotes from different writers, different people. Virginia Clem was 7 years old in 1829 when her first cousin Edgar Allan Poe came to stay with her family at the previous residence in East Baltimore. In 1835, Poe left this city to work in Richmond. That same year, Virginia's grandmother died, after which the family could no longer afford to live here on Amity Street. Edgar, fearing that he was losing his little family, returned to Baltimore and married Virginia in a private ceremony. By October 7, 1835, the couple, along with Virginia's mother, were living in Richmond. In 1842, Virginia developed consumption, tuberculosis, rupturing a blood vessel in her throat while singing. Virginia died in their Fordham, New York home, January 30th, 1847. And Edgar Allan Poe's final resting place is here at the Westminster Church here, the Westminster Cemetery. Right here as you come in. Plaque here says, Edgar Allan Poe, the American literary genius, best known for his short stories and poems, often claimed Baltimore as his birthplace. In Baltimore, Poe found love and affection, launched his literacy career, and was later laid to rest. Born in Boston and reared in Richmond, the troubled writer remained emotionally tied to Baltimore, where the Poe family was held in high regard. Poe, the father of detective fiction, died suddenly under mysterious circumstances on October 7th, 1849. He was buried the next day here at Westminster, thus securing him an eternal connection to Baltimore. So this church, I believe, was built in 1845 over top of the existing cemetery on these piers or pillars, basically. So it created catacombs underneath it. And you can tour those catacombs. I think it's only one day per month. I think it's possibly the first Saturday of every month or something. You can actually go down and see the graves. Poe's original grave site is back here, the south side, the south end of the cemetery. So as I told you, Virginia had died in 1847, and it was only 2 years or so, a little over 2 years, that Edgar Allan Poe died. He was no longer living in Baltimore. He was actually traveling from Virginia to New York, and he was just stopped in Baltimore on October 3rd, 1849. He was found delirious on the streets of Baltimore. He was wearing someone else's clothes. He was unable to explain what had happened to him, and he was taken to Washington College Hospital, where he spent his last days, I believe it was 4 days, in and out of consciousness, muttering nonsense and calling out the name Reynolds, though no one knows who that was. Now, there's a common theory that he was at this bar called the Horse You Came In On, that was the place where he last drank. And it's my understanding that that wasn't even a bar back then. That was a food store of sorts. That's from what I've heard from the historians at even the museum. Some people say that he was a victim of what is called cooping, basically a brutal election scam where gangs kidnapped people, forced them to drink, changed their clothes, and made them vote repeatedly. That seems a little far-fetched to me. I mean, it's possible, I guess. Some people say that it was alcohol poisoning. Some people say it could have been a brain tumor. He possibly could have had rabies. But Poe never regained enough clarity to explain what happened. He died on October 7th, and his cause of death officially was listed as congestion of the brain, and to this day, no one really knows what killed him. So anyway, that's kind of the information that they have. Very strange circumstances. and they'll likely never know what happened. Maybe if they exhume his body again one day and do some tests. David Poe, Edgar's grandfather, was one of this cemetery's original plot owners. He served the revolutionary cause and the state militia as a soldier and its quartermaster, earning the gratitude and the respect of his fellow citizens, who later bestowed upon him honorific title of general. He later served in the War of 1812 at the Battle of North Point, volunteering at the age of 71. Wow. Oh, they got metal under it now. I mean, it's so old now, but this was featured in Ripley's Believe It or Not, as you can see here. At the time, the gravity-defying piece of marble continues to fascinate. I mean, there's metal under it now, but... Well, even in the picture, there was that thing holding it up, so I don't know. It's not really curved, I guess. I don't know. So that's a little bit about the life and death of Edgar Allan Poe. I mean, where would we be? Anybody who loves true crime stories or anything of that genre, horror, where would we be without Edgar Allan Poe? So rest in peace to Poe. Hope you enjoyed this. See you in the next video.